Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In today's video, I'm going to be covering something topical related to Harry Potter. That's not something I can say very often. This video will of course be discussing the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film, Fantastic Beasts 3. However, fortunately, we don't have to just call it Fantastic Beasts 3 anymore, and that's because Warner Bros. Announced the title of the film just 2 short days ago, revealing it to be Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. This title follows the first installment in the series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, as well as the second installment, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This video is going to cover some of the information that we have on the film so far, as well as answer some lingering questions that fans might have about the upcoming films, including questions about the plot, characters, and release date. I'm going to be repeating a few pieces of information from the last video because I want this to be comprehensive, but a lot of it's new. Let's get into it. Is there a trailer available for Fantastic Beasts 3? Apparently, filming for the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film is over, but with that said, no official footage of the film has been released as of yet. The Crimes of Grindelwald got a trailer 8 months in advance of its release, and we're now 7 months away from the release of this film, so I certainly expect to see one soon. Release date. The film was originally scheduled for November 2020, but was postponed due to the need for a screenplay rewrite. This pushed the film back to November 2021, but then disaster struck in the form of a pandemic, and the film was postponed again, the new release date being July 2022, being pushed back even further. With all of that said, however, you might be glad to hear that Fantastic Beasts 3 is now actually ahead of schedule, and will be released during Easter of 2022, April 15th to be exact. How many films will there be? Now, when the Fantastic Beasts films were first announced, we were told that we were going to be given 5 films in total. However, after the second film failed to perform at the level that they had expected, there were rumours that the Fantastic Beasts films could instead be concluded in a trilogy, ending after only the 3rd installment instead. However, these are just rumours, and Warner Bros. Haven't released any definitive statements regarding how many films we can expect to receive. With that said, however, I still think there are going to be 5 films. We've been given 2 films so far, which means that, based on a 5-part film series, we're 40% of the way in. The total timescale of the Fantastic Beasts story is 18 years, but from the first 2 films, we've only been given 2 of those years, 1926 and 1927. Given that we've still got so many years to cover, I really don't see how it could be wrapped up so suddenly. We've only really just scratched the surface of the plot and characters, so all I know is that I'd be bitterly disappointed if it wrapped up in 3. We can definitely expect a time jump from the 3rd film, but to jump all the way to the end in 1945 would be surprising. Characters we could possibly see. One rumour, which has yet to be confirmed, suggests that maybe, just maybe, we will see Hagrid and young Tom Riddle in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film. This is something that I have always hoped for and suspected, and I think it may be true for a number of reasons. It makes sense from a timeline perspective. The Crimes of Grindelwald takes place in the year 1927, and Grindelwald is still very much on his rise to power. The film closes in this same year, and Grindelwald still has so much character development to undergo, as does everyone else. Tom Riddle starts at Hogwarts in the year 1938, and Hagrid starts in the year 1940. As Grindelwald isn't actually defeated until the year 1945, it would make total sense that these 2 characters would make an appearance. Eddie Redmayne, aka Newt Scamander, has expressed himself in a Reddit AMA that he'd like to see Hagrid return. He was asked the question, which character would you like to see star in Fantastic Beasts 3? To which Redmayne replied with an enthusiastic, Hagrid, always Hagrid. Given that Redmayne is such an important part of the Fantastic Beasts films, it really does, at least in my eyes, give me a glimmer of hope that perhaps Hagrid, and maybe even Tom Riddle, will return. Bearing all of that information in mind, we also need to remember the timeline of the films, which end as late as 1945. This gives us quite a large window of possibility, and to have them not appear at all would be an injustice. With that time frame in mind, we can also speculate as to which other characters we may see make an appearance. Moaning Myrtle immediately comes to mind as she's the same age as Hagrid, and famously suffered at the hands of the Basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. Professor Horace Slughorn also comes to mind, as he was a professor at Hogwarts during this time, and famously taught Tom Riddle. If Tom Riddle is to make an appearance, I also suspect that we will see the members of his gang, who would later become Death Eaters. We know that one of Voldemort's gang members is named Lestrange, and I'm sure you guys can think of a few other characters that share this same last name. Perhaps this is the father of Rodolphus. I'm really excited to see how things unfold and which characters they bring on board. The new title, The new title of the film, replacing Fantastic Beasts 3, is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. A fitting title given the cliffhanger that we were left on after the second installment. I'll get more into that in the next question. Is Credence a Dumbledore? At the end of the Crimes of Grindelwald, a rather major plot point is revealed to us. Credence Barebone, the powerful Obscurial, is Dumbledore's long-lost brother, Aurelius. If true, and Credence is in fact a Dumbledore, it is huge news because it adds a major character to Harry Potter canon. In Rita Skeeter's The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore, it's made very clear that there's a lot about the Dumbledore family the public doesn't know, so it's very possible that they're related. Though Grindelwald doesn't confirm who exactly Aurelius's parents are, since he refers to Albus as the young man's brother, we can safely assume that he belongs to at least one of Albus's parents. Albus was the eldest son in the Dumbledore family, and his parents were Percival and Kendra Dumbledore. Before this point in time, it was widely thought that there were only 3 Dumbledore children, Albus, Aberforth, and Ariana. But if Aurelius is a Dumbledore, it's unlikely he's the son of both Kendra and Percival. Percival was in Azkaban from 1890 onward, and there's no way that they could have conceived a child there. However, there is always the possibility that Kendra had a child with another man, while Percival was imprisoned. This child, regardless of the father, would be Albus's half-brother. If she gave birth in 1898, a year before she died, then Credence would be 27, 28 in the films. Kendra's shame might also explain why baby Aurelius was on a ship bound for America. Plot. Accompanying the new title and release, we've also been given some tidbits about the plot of the upcoming film in the form of synopsis. Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world, it reads. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts Magizoologist Newt Scamander to lead an intrepid team of wizards, witches, and one brave Muggle baker on a dangerous mission, where they encounter old and new beasts and clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. But with the stakes so high, how long can Dumbledore remain on the sidelines? Dan Fogler, who plays Jacob, also said the following about the film in an interview last year. The character development is really lovely, and it's very similar to the feel of the first movie, which I think is great, he said. It's leading toward this massive war with the backdrop of World War II, so you can just imagine epic battle scenes are coming. Fogler's co-star, Catherine Waterston, who plays Tina Goldstein, said the following. I never really know what I'm supposed to say or not say, she explained, but yes, I can confirm there will be surprises. I just thought of one, in fact. It surprised me. I think that's about as far as I can go. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. That's it for today's video. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.